What's happening? Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Morning Perspective. We are on episode 17. That is hard to believe. Hard to believe that I've been on here 17 times in the last couple of weeks. Today's topic, one that impacts everybody, literally everybody. Comparison is the thief of joy. So, for you guys out there that can connect and relate to this topic, maybe you've heard that quote before, and you always wondered, where did it come from, right? Where did that quote come from? So I looked it up online because I used the quote quite a bit, and I wondered who it came from, and it was actually credited to Teddy Roosevelt. So Teddy Roosevelt actually is credited with that quote, and that's appropriate for anybody that knows anything about Teddy Roosevelt. So, but it is a quote that I think every person in some way, shape, or form is impacted by. Everybody looks at other people and just kind of processes, man, how did that person get that? Or why does this person have that? Or why does, all kinds of stuff, right? So when we think about that quote, I've got a couple tips for you guys on how to kind of control yourself so that you stay the course in your own life and you don't get caught up, looking at other people's stuff or things or life and have any level of negativity when it comes to that, because it is a dangerous thing to have. So first and foremost, guys, I just want to thank everybody that's been tuning in and just supporting this show. You guys have been awesome. The number of DMs I get on a daily basis, just thanking me for the content, people connecting with each other that never knew each other before. That's exactly what the mission of this show is to provide you guys with a positive start to your morning, and also to connect you with a bunch of other people who are looking to do the same. I got news for you guys. If you're in this stream and you're reading comments and you're looking at all this stuff, the people that watch this show are watching it for a reason, because they want a better start to their day. They want a better life. They want more positivity in their life. And so I encourage you guys to connect with each other that are watching this show. It will make a positive impact in your life. Some of the most influential people that I've had in my life I met from social media. Some of those people are the very best friends that I have today. And so I would encourage you guys to connect. Send each other DMs, whatever it is. But good morning, babe. My wife's watching. Benjamin, what's happening, man? Zach, what's going on? Dean, Dom, Manzo, my dude, tuning in every morning to get fulfilled before he starts his day. It's fantastic. So I do have a special guest lined up this week, guys, and I want to start this show off with a little bit of perspective for you guys. So I'm going to play you guys a video of this little 10-year-old spark plug that I have coming on this show. I believe we're going to do it tomorrow night, so it'll be an evening edition so that she doesn't have to get up early, because she is a 10-year-old current cancer patient that is battling. She had a softball-sized tumor on her kidney, and she is currently in the process of fighting that right now successfully. She's going to kick the shit out of cancer. But I want you guys to meet Carly Tobin before the show actually comes on. And so I've got a video here that I want to play you guys. It's just a couple of minutes long, but I promise you it will help you start your day with a little better perspective.
Speaking of cancer, Tom Lydon takes us to Natick tonight for an inspirational story about a truly amazing 10-year-old named Carly Tobin. This Tuesday and Wednesday, Nesson and WEEI will hold their 18th annual Jimmy Fund Radio Telethon. This is one of the stories you'll see over those 2 days. Tonight, we're debuting it right here. Meet Carly Tobin.
Around the Tobin house in Natick, you see inspirational words. Words like fierce, warrior, inspired, thankful, sassy. Words written for a specific purpose.
Because I am all those words. I'm fierce, I'm strong, I'm sassy, super sassy. Those are all words that describe me. It's just me and who I am.
What Carly Tobin also has become in the last 3 months is a patient at Dana-Farber. In May, doctors discovered a tumor the size of a softball on her kidney. In the days since, and I stress days since we're just shy of 80 since Carly was diagnosed, her life in some ways has been turned upside down.
What was going through my mind was like, oh my gosh, am I going to be okay? Is this something that is life-threatening? Is this something that is going to continue? So I was just very in a moment where I couldn't think of like what was going on.
My world went black for a quick minute, and then we had to go back in the room with her. So you pull your whole self back together and decide that, we're going to conquer this together.
Like most of us, the Tobins have listened to and watched the Jimmy Fund Radiothon and Telethon for years.
We donated some stuff in the past and given some things, and obviously listen, it's compelling listening and viewing. Looking at it from the outside, you're drawn in to hear the stories and you think how people are impacted, and then, well, you kind of pull your car into the garage and you go about your normal life. But to have been seeing it on the inside as we have, to really get a feel for just how much work goes in and the impact that it generates and creates, there's really nothing else quite like it.
Carly has been embraced by her new team just as her dance teammates have embraced her forever. And while this new reality is different, it hasn't been as terrible as you might think.
Honestly, cancer's not that bad having it because you get to do so many amazing things. So for my birthday, and as a surprise, I got to meet Jennifer Lopez. Yeah, pretty crazy. I get to meet Red Sox players, I get to go on the field. I just get to have fun there, and no one wants to have cancer, but they make it fun having cancer.
Native New Englanders with a world-class facility right in their backyard. In many ways, the Tobins feel blessed.
We met people from Texas, people from Europe, people from China. They fly in to
Be here.
No surprise this family finishes each other's sentences. It takes a team effort, being on the same page, but they certainly aren't doing it alone.
This was put together when Carly was in the hospital. Her dance studio, Miss Heejin's Dance Studios, Carly's part of the competition team there. She's danced for the past 5 years. So it welcomed Carly home. Her immediate team made handprints, and Carly came home to know how much love and support surrounds her on the journey.
A wonderful family, so inspiring, and Carly's a bit of an entrepreneur. You saw her making slime during that piece. Well, she started her own business, the Girl Power Slime Company. And any money she makes from her slimy creations, she donates to charity. Really great to meet Carly and her parents, Matt and Carrie Ann. Her brother Jacob, big part of it too. Jacob was at camp when we met Carly. There's little doubt, though, that little spark plug is going to kick cancer's butt. An honor to spend time with her. I'm Tom Lydon.
So I think you guys will enjoy that show. I think it will bring a lot of perspective to people's lives and give you quite a bit to think about. And I look forward to having that little girl on the show and bringing her to introduce her to you guys. She is a burst of energy and, man, just an inspiration to me and to a lot of other people. So I just realized, guys, that I accidentally broadcasted this in the Top Contractor School community instead of on my regular page, but we're going to roll with it because that's what happens, right? Stuff goes sideways sometimes. We make mistakes, but we're just going to go with it. I posted on my page for people to join us in here. We'll see if they do or don't, but either way, we're good to go. So comparison is the thief of all joy. So I want you guys to ask yourself this question. Do you ever find yourself having admiration or even jealousy for somebody else's situation? Tough question, right? And most people, the answer is probably yes, right? And if you do, I mean, it's normal. Everybody does, right? There is no share button, man, because we're in the group, so I have to rebroadcast this out to my regular page. I apologize, guys. Made a mistake this morning, but all good. Maybe we'll get some more people in the Top Contractor School community as a result. Let's hope, right? But if you've ever found yourself having admiration for somebody else's stuff, whether it's their marriage, their career, their house, their car, their family, it's important first and foremost to recognize that you're doing that, so that number one, you can stop it. Number two, you can kind of react to that the right way. So I want you guys, if you catch yourself doing this, I just want you to ask yourself this one question. What did that person have to sacrifice or go through to get what it is that I am thinking about? Think about that for a minute. So when you look at somebody's life and you look at, you look at a house that they live in, or you look at a car that they drive, you're looking at nothing but the surface level of a possession that somebody has, or, something that they have in their life, their family, their children, all of those types of things. You're looking at nothing but the surface of this, and you're creating jealousy or thinking about that without actually thinking about what the rest of the story is, what it took to get that, or what they went through to get to that point. So I'll give you an example. My wife and I have a fantastic marriage. We love each other. We have 3 beautiful children. From the outside in, I'm sure that it looks like everything is just always, fantastic and roses, right? But that's not the case, right? And my wife and I would say 99% of the time, we are extremely happy. And we don't have many problems. But there are problems. We do have disagreements. We don't see eye to eye on everything. We don't think the same way. We weren't raised the same way. There's a lot of things that you go through. And so that's number one. So it's never what it seems from the outside in. Number 2 is, I would tell you guys this. If you knew the stories of what my wife and I both went through in relationships prior to being married to each other, you would probably think about that pretty differently. There was a lot of sacrifice and heartache and, failed relationships. And for me, I was married once before. There's a lot that goes into somebody's life that's not pretty, that may eventually end up pretty. And by the way, the only way that it ends up pretty is if that person stays the course, never gives up, continues to have an open heart, be positive, welcome all of those great things into their life. I could have very easily, missed meeting my wife. I could have met my wife and never pursued it, right? Because I was in a bad place. I was negative. I was this, I was that. But that was never the case for me. And I went through a lot of things. I went through a lot of stuff prior to meeting my wife. And so I would just encourage you guys to look below the surface. So if you look at somebody's career and you say, man, I wish I could have, that kind of career. I wish I could make that much money, or I wish whatever it is. I would tell you that person, when you look at that person, that there are probably things that they question about their path and journey. There could be, at least. So for example, some people make a lot of money, but they got to travel for work to do it. My brother was one of those people until just recently, right? And so he's got 2 twins at home. They just turned 2 years old. And he was traveling 4 days a week. And so my brother does pretty well. But the reality is, I can guarantee you, I've never asked him this, but I can guarantee you that there are plenty of nights in a hotel room that he thinks to himself, am I doing the right thing? And, so it's not all what it seems is the point that I'm trying to make, guys. So go back to, when you have that feeling, I want you guys to truly just ask yourself, let's think below the surface for a minute as number one. Let's just try to process that, the face value of something is not the only thing to it. I mean, there's a lot more to what goes into somebody getting what they have. And so I would just ask you guys to ask yourself that question. What did that person actually sacrifice to get what it is that I'm thinking about? And don't allow yourself to have that level of jealousy, right? Admiration, even that is dangerous, right? And make sure that you're cheering for people, guys. When people have nice things, somebody buys a nice car. I just saw a young guy the other day, just bought a brand new Bentley. And I was like, man, how awesome is that? The dude's like 20 something years old, 30 years old, and just bought a brand new Bentley. Sick car, right? But there's a lot of people out there that don't celebrate for people, right? And there's a lot of people that, they just, they can't find it in their heart to celebrate for others. And I will tell you this, guys, if you can't celebrate for other people, man, it's going to be tough for God to gift you with things. And so, make sure that you keep yourself in check with regard to how you look at other people. And don't just say, oh man, they must have done something shady to get that, or oh, their parents must be rich, or oh, that, it's just not the case. And so this topic of, comparison in general, it's a negative in a lot of people's lives, And here's what I will tell you. It is normal to look at people and admire or want something more in your life. It's not about wanting what somebody else has. It's about wanting more in your own life. And that's normal, guys. That is, that's how you achieve bigger and better things. But it is about understanding the sacrifices that are made to get those things, to have those things. You can have anything you want in life. I promise you. You can have anything you want. Like, I have things that go through my mind that I want. And the first thing that I try to do when I start thinking about those things is, what do I have to sacrifice and execute on to get it? I understand, like, I got a jet on that board back there. If you guys ever see me flying in a private jet, I understand what it takes to do that. And I understand that it takes enormous scale in my business to be able to even think about buying something like that, or paying for the hourly rate that it costs to operate that thing. Like, you guys can't even grasp what it takes to do that. I had no idea until I started asking people questions that I know that have one. I went to a conference where a guy said it costs him $50,000 a month to park his jet. Just to park it. So when you think about that, what kind of sacrifice goes into, or what sacrifice went into in the past to be able to produce that kind of income and that kind of life where you can afford something like that? And I can tell you, I've asked the questions. It takes sleepless nights, a lot of time from home, missing events with your children. It takes a lot of sacrifice. And not everybody, by the way, is willing to do all of that stuff. And that's okay. You don't have to have what everybody else has to be happy. I can tell you right now, there's a million things in this life that I want that I don't have. But I could also tell you that I am incredibly, incredibly happy. I don't know that I could be happier in my life. I have an unbelievable wife. I have 3 beautiful children, another one on the way. I have great businesses. I have great people that I work with. All of those things, by the way, have problems mixed in them. But that's what life is. Life is not about just getting. If you get something given to you, you will not find the worth in that item. You have to earn it. It's God's rule. You have to sacrifice and earn it to be awarded it. And so when you start looking at people and comparing, and you start thinking, man, I wish I had a house like that. Man, I wish I had a car. Don't wish that you had the item. Just wish that you are willing, hope that you are willing to sacrifice. Hope that you are willing to pay the price. And if you are willing to pay the price, you will get everything that those people have. I promise you. It is loyalty in a singular direction for an extended period of time will produce unbelievable things in your life. You just got to be willing to sacrifice to get it. That person, I promise you, I said this before, but I'm going to repeat it again because I think it's important. The person you're looking at that has those things, they are constantly evaluating their situation. And I know a lot of people who sacrifice quite a bit, and they repeatedly say the sacrifice is worth it because of what I'll be able to give my children in the future. I'll be able to give my children in the future. But I bet you in the quiet moments that they still question that time they have to sacrifice. For me, I am extremely proud of what we've been able to accomplish in our business. I dreamed of living in a house like this one. I dreamed of, not having constant stress over money. But I can tell you this, when I'm on the road and I'm, missing my wife and my children, there are definitely moments where I think to myself like, man, I can't get this time back. But the difference between me and most people is this. Obviously, my wife and children are everything to me. I mean, there is nothing in this world that fills me up. Like, I get to feeling just saying it out loud. There's nothing that fills me up than hugging my children, holding my wife, like nothing. But business, because of what I've chosen to do and the joy that I get from business, the joy that I get from helping other people, the joy that I get from solving problems for customers, I don't regret anything. I just wish I could have it all, just like everybody else. I wish that I could have my family with me. A couple of weeks ago, we were able to take a trip, stopped in North Carolina, ended up in Florida the whole way down, drove the whole way down. I flew them back. But man, how cool was it for me to be able to take my family. They were having fun. They were going to the pool. They were going to see their Aunt Leah. They were going to different places, seeing people that we used to hang out with when we were in South Florida. And I was still able to work. So that was a dream of mine. But I want to tell you guys, that took 19 years of working and sacrificing to open the business that I have. And it took multiple years of 0 vacations and probably 12 to 16-hour days every day. You can ask my wife. I'm sure she'll comment here. I am 24/7. It's nonstop. Sometimes I have to stop myself because of the sacrifice that it requires. And I don't tell you guys that because I want you to, think that I work hard. I tell you guys that because I think that it's important for people to know that it's not all just baskets of roses. It is a difficult journey to get what you want. And I don't have what I want yet, but I'm closer than I was before. And every day, it's a measurement, right? Are you getting closer? Are you making progress? Or, some days I lose. Some days I literally will work 12 hours and I get up and think man, that was terrible. Man, that was rough. Man, that was not a good day. I didn't accomplish what I wanted to accomplish. I didn't get done what I wanted to get done. And so I tell you that because that comparison thing is a dangerous thing to have, because all you're comparing is surface level stuff. So if you ask yourself, what sacrifice does it take to get it? And you are willing to pay that price, you can have anything you want. But I will tell you, the most important thing you can do is be happy for people. Be happy, congratulate them when they get new things, be genuinely happy. And then beyond that, the most powerful thing that you can do is ask this question. Can I ask you a question, man? What did it take to get that? And what does it mean? I will tell you this. My friend who I had on this show, Jordan Stupar, he drives a Porsche 911. And that guy loves that car more than anything in the world. I like cars, but they're not everything to me. There's a lot more important things than cars to me in life. And so I will eventually have, one of those cars, but to me, it's not a priority. To Jordan, it is. Anybody that knows Jordan personally knows that car, the way people view that car, the comparison that he gets from driving that car of people, man, they're either jealous or have admiration or whatever. If you knew Jordan, that car means something to him. It's not about having the car. It's not about the flash. It's about what it took. That car, if you were to ask him, it represents the sacrifice that he was willing to make. And he dreamed of having that car since he was a kid. And it was years and years and years of failure. If you know his story, go back and watch that episode. He lived in nasty apartments in New York City. When he moved to Miami to start working for Grant Cardone, he lived in a complete dump. And he worked and worked and worked until he made, I believe it was $500-something thousand a year as a salesperson. And that achievement absolutely created something in his life that he desired to have since he was a little boy. It created his ability to buy that car. So when you look at people, don't judge them. Jordan is not the guy that you say, oh man, he's a flashy guy who wants to drive a Porsche. He's not that guy. You have to get to know him. But on the surface, and I've told him this on his social media page, I've told him, like, man, you post a lot about your Porsche. It's really not who you are. Who he is a genuine guy that wants to help people. But people get enamored by the car. They get caught up in the car. And so they can't necessarily always get the right message if you're broadcasting the wrong thing. And so I will wrap this up like this, guys. You know, when it comes to comparison, it can be a powerful thing in your life if you use it for the right reasons. If you use it to excite you and to get you motivated to achieve more, it's going to do great things in your life. If you allow comparison to be a negative, then it will be the thief of all joy you have, because you'll never have enough. There's always someone out there that's going to have more than you, that's going to achieve more than you. There's only one richest man in the world. Only one. And it changes every single day. The value changes because of stock price. So it changes every day. Sometimes, it's a pretty distant race right now. But, the truth is, there's always somebody, right? And the richest man in the world right now just went through a crazy divorce and all kinds of stuff. So, again, it's like, what do you want? The comparison comes with more than just that one item that you choose to compare. And so I would encourage you guys to evaluate that in your life, evaluate how you think about comparison. And I'm telling you, the more you celebrate for people, the more that you will have yourself. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. I apologize for broadcasting this in the community. I will rebroadcast it on my page here in a second, so that everybody can jump on and watch. But for those who are watching this live on my page, it is not actually live. It will be recorded. But I appreciate all of you guys that jumped on. We still got a bunch of people in here, and I appreciate you guys tuning in every single morning. We'll be back with you here tomorrow morning at 7:30, helping you hopefully start your day off more positive. So when I put this on my page, please, if you guys found value in it, you don't have to necessarily share it. Just tell a friend. Tell them to come over, connect with me on my page, and follow this content. And hopefully we can grow this to something that really helps a lot of people. So I appreciate you guys, and I will see you all tomorrow morning.